What is up, YouTube? It's Enrique Wow coming back at you with another PvP talent tier list video. Today we are doing Sub Rogue or Subtlety Rogue, whichever you prefer. Today I am joined by my good friend and arena partner and nuisance in my backside, Mr. Hezi,
What's
Hezi
up?
the Rogue. You probably see
Hey,
him in all my videos on Twitch, in our raid, on YouTube, in our videos or whatever. He is the other side of Thug Cleave, yes. He is a multi-season duelist rogue. He has a lot of experience for the last like 8 years probably, or something like that. We've been playing the game for more than 10 years.
very long time.
He's been top in the server, big ranks in the whole world, etc., etc. He has the experience. Today he's going to run through the sub rogue talents and let us know what he thinks and what's strong and what's a flop. What's up, Mr.
Yeah.
Hezi?
Hey, yo, man, appreciate you having me.
No problem. Let's get right into this. Of course, it would start with Shadowy Duel. I think that's just so funny.
Yeah, probably great ability here. Obviously it allows you to just 1v1 people, and I probably think you can secure either CC. You can use a CC, secure a lot of kills with this. I think a lot of times you'll see it. If you run twos, you'll see a rogue try to duel someone and 100 them in the duel. And it's a great ability just because you can force something, get force a CD, force a trinket, but you can also use it as a way to peel for a teammate, peel for yourself. You know, you see a lot of people shadowy duel the healer to get a DPS off of them and then just kind of run away, run and pillar, or they'll shadowy duel the DPS to run and peel for their healer or teammate. So it's a really great ability. You're going to run this, despite the fact that they changed it from 6 seconds to 5 seconds. I would still say you're probably going to run this 8 out of your 10 games. So Shadowy Duel, I'm going to put S tier. I'm
S
with the
tier.
consensus on that one. You're going to
Boom.
use this ability very, very often.
So what we used to do, for those that are watching this at home, so we run Hunter Rogue mostly. And what we could do is Hunter's Mark our target, and then once we get him low, we could Shadowy Duel him, and I could still see him in the Shadowy Duel. I mean, it was so broken, dude.
Create a nice 2v1 right there.
Right, but I think they've since patched that out of the game, so you can't
Yeah,
do that anymore.
unfortunately.
All right, next talent, Dismantle.
Dismantle. So I still think Dismantle is a pretty good ability on Sub Rogue. I feel like Sub Rogue just has so much lockdown. Obviously, you can stun lock multiple people, and I think to add into that the fact that when they're not stunned, they're disarmed. So it's a great ability. You're going to see a lot of warriors this patch. Been seeing a lot of warriors all of Shadowlands and stuff. I think Dismantle is definitely going to be one of your abilities you rotate in if you're fighting a melee. Besides maybe Demon Hunter or Windwalker. You're gonna run this ability pretty often, definitely in the other rogues as well. So like you see a rogue pop a shadow dance, and you're like, all right, I'm about to get set up. They're about to lock down my healer. They're about to go me. You can get a dismantle off before they can get their cheap shot on you. You can end their whole go and live to see another day. So dismantle, I'm gonna give it S tier just because the utility of it is phenomenal. You're only gonna not really run into like casters, and so dismantle is an excellent ability for peeling for you and your teammates.
So you gave it an A in Sim Rogue. What's the difference on Sub Rogue? Just less
I think on
talents to
sub
choose
rogue,
from?
I think it's a mix. So I think it is that sub rogue, you have a little bit more leeway just because a lot of your good tools are already in your toolkit.
Okay.
But I also think that the excess amount of CC, you can be such a huge nuisance to people because you have such long stun locks. So like imagine you hit somebody with a if you're running the talent for it, you can run a 7 second kidney into double cheap shot. That's like 9, 10 seconds of CC. And then imagine after that, you're dismantled. Like you haven't played the game for the past 20, 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And so within that, that's a lot of lockdown and a lot of pressure that's lacking. So you're going to have more time for your CDs to come back and less time of using your own defensive CDs. And so I think that excess amount of CC just makes it so much stronger and sub.
Boom. Good explanation. Alrighty, number 3, Thickest Thieves, otherwise known as Tricks of the Trade.
So tricks of trade, I feel like also has a little bit of different use in sub. I think sub, you're often trying to get re-stealth to get your master of assass legendary backups. You can hit a few crits on somebody out of stealth, but I think there are sometimes you have goes where like you just can't get that re-stealth or you're knocked out of stealth right before your go because of either We know if you play rogue, you know that you'll randomly get knocked out of stealth by the most random things. And so Thickest Thieves is really good in that time where it's just like, all right, I'm not gonna get a restuff, I'm not gonna get that crit window, but I can still do a lot of damage because I either have Shadow Blades up or just Shadow Dance is gonna do some damage. And so you get that extra 15% for 6 seconds is really good. Just because also Sub Rogue is very dependent on goes, dependent upon off DC on healer, off DC on the other DPS. And so Thickest Thieves really sets your team up for a good kill window, even if you may not have your CDs up. And so Thickest Thieves is probably another one of those talents where it's situational. You may run it, you may not run it. So I'm gonna give it A tier just because I think that it is not necessarily essential, but it's gonna get you a kill if you use properly pretty often. And so I'm gonna give it an A because it may not be necessarily the most essential all the time, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah, I guess we should mention Sub Rogue. Oh, Sin Rogue can run with basically anything, but Sub Rogue basically only has like one good comp, which is Rogue
Yeah.
Mage.
Rogue Mage, and then if you're feeling saucy, you run a nice little thug. But other than that, Sub Rogue, you're not gonna see it too often outside of those two things. And those are two comps where you only really kill in Windows.
Yeah.
So I think these fits in well with that.
Listen to me, YouTube. I wouldn't recommend Thug Cleave to my worst enemy, but it's
Wouldn't
what,
put that pressure on nobody.
but it's all we have.
Right, exactly.
All right, next ability, Dagger in the Dark. Oh, this is the cheese, guys. This is the cheese.
Yeah. So I mean, honestly, I feel like this ability, you're never really gonna run unless you're literally running twos and you're trying to cheese someone. You're trying to hit someone with a nice big 20k Shadow Strike, and even then, that's been nerfed since last patch because people were doing that everywhere. If you're trying to play at a high level, you're never gonna run Dagger in the Dark just because you have so many better options. But if you're looking for a good time, you're trying to play around in twos and just cheese some lowly demon hunter who's been hunting you to death, then you might run Dagger in the Dark. But other than that, I'm not gonna run it too often. I've never played it. I'm not much of a cheese player. I'm trying to win, I'm trying to outskill you rather than just winning with some cheesy strat. So I'm
Explain
about to give.
explain to people what it does or how you use it.
All right. So
We
basically,
haven't
what
been
happened?
explaining the tooltip, but
Okay, yeah, you're right. So Dagger in the Dark essentially what it does is it puts a debuff on your enemy. As I think when you're within 12 yards, and so it just stacks up 5% every time. It stacks up to 50% damage on your next Shadow Strike. And so the good thing about that ability is when you open, obviously you're in stealth, so when you open, you're gonna hit them with a 50% stronger Shadow Strike. But the thing is it also lets them know that there's a debuff on them, and so the enemy can sometimes react to that, and they might even knock you out of stealth because you do have to be within a certain range of them. So overall, Dagger in the Dark, okay, but I wouldn't really recommend it if you're trying to play at a higher level. So I'm going to give Dagger in the Dark a C tier, a C for cheese.
C for cheese. Yeah, so if you play at a low MMR, you can get away with Dagger in the Dark for sure.
Yeah.
But anything probably above like 1600 or so, probably not worth it. All right, next ability, my favorite ability, Death from Above.
Right. Death from Above, very similar to the Sin Rogue. You're not really gonna run this too often. I think that the 10% damage that it gives, where it lets you fly in there, come down, do 10% stronger damage on your eviscerate, it's not really gonna make a big huge difference. And I also think that when using that ability, it cuts into your Master of Assassin time. So if you are trying to do a big crit on somebody, I think the fly up animation come back down is probably like 2 seconds. So that's like two GCDs off of your Master of Assassin ability. So you're not really going to use this in a go phase, I would say. You mostly use it to avoid a CC when you know it's coming, or to chase down maybe someone who's about to port or someone who is about to blink or something like that. Or if you know the druid's about to go travel form and jump away from you, then you might run it. But other than that, it's just the damage isn't there. It's definitely a situational thing, and you have to play it perfectly. And the risk reward for it is just not there when you have better options. So Death from Above, I'm going to have to give it a C tier as well, just because you do have better options in Sin Rogue.
C tier. Makes sense. Alrighty, moving on here. We got Smoke Bomb, which is I should mention that it's a 2-minute cooldown, so not 3 minutes.
Yeah. So that makes it even better in Sub Rogue, just because that 2 minutes. I do often think that how quick the game is right now. You're making it 5-minute games, 3-minute games. I mean, sometimes even 1 or 2 minute games if you just press the right buttons and they don't react. And so that 2-minute cooldown really makes it one of those things where it's up every time. It's up pretty much for every trinket. And so you can definitely force trinkets. Definitely on sub rogue. I think people are a lot more scared of your kidneys and your goes. Even if you don't have the off-target CC, people are really still scared of being in that smoke bomb. I don't know what it is. It's just people instant react like I gotta press the button. I can't sit this. And
So
so
true.
smoke bomb on sub rogue, including the 2 minute cooldown, which makes it. I mean, it had already been S tier. Probably would have been. It's probably could be S plus. Like smoke bomb is lovely on sub rogue. So I'm about to give it S tier.
We'll give it the best of S.
Yeah, the best of S.
S for super. All
Yeah.
right. Next ability, silhouette. This is sub only.
Yeah, sub only. So Shadow Step's cooldown is reduced by 67% when cast on a friendly target. So I definitely think as sub rogue, one of the pros is that you have two Shadow Steps. So you have one, if you use one Shadow Step, you have the other one regenerating while you haven't used the other one. And so this ability is pretty good in the sense of I think one of the pros of sub rogue is you can kind of juke a lot of people. You can be running one way, Shadow Step to your friendly target, now you're around the pillar and you're trying to get that re-stealth. So this ability I think it has its role. I definitely think if you're running like double DPS twos, I think it's pretty good. I think there are a lot of times when we'll have
Hunter,
Eric's playing Hunter and I'll have him
Hunter
stand
rogue.
on the
Yeah.
bridge. Yeah, I'll have him stand on the bridge. I'm gonna jump off. DPS gonna jump off. I'm gonna shadow step back to him up there, and now I'm running trying to get a re-stealth. But I do think that this is an ability that is good and has its uses. You have better options. I do think that cooldown is pretty great. But I think it's sub rogue because you have two dances. One being on cooldown is the hugest deal, and so you still have time. And the sub rogue, you're gonna be kiting pretty often. So I don't have to give this one a B tier. I definitely think it's something you might use more often. But you just got better options when you're coming to sub rogue because you're trying to kill. You're not always trying to run away. And so yeah.
Yeah, probably twos only, right?
Yeah, I would say yeah, definitely twos only. Twos only, I would agree with that.
Yeah. I should post some of our Hunter Rogue 2's videos. I don't think I have any of them on YouTube.
Yeah, definitely add some of those.
All right. Next ability. This thing has a cool icon. Thieves Bargain.
Thieves Bargain. So this has been a new addition, with a few others in the 9.1.
Explain what it
Yeah, I think
does.
it's
I
a
think we
little.
should explain what it does.
Yeah, so this basically the cooldown Shadow Blades, Vanish, and Faint are reduced by 33%, but using one reduces your damage done by 10% for 6 seconds. And so when I read this tooltip, I ignore that 10% because at the end of the day, that's not the hugest deal from what you gain out of this. So reduced cooldown on Shadow Blades takes it from 3 minutes to 2 minutes. That's one of your big damage dealers. Vanish reduction, amazing, just because you're going to use Vanish either to one, sap a blind, but since you're playing sub, you don't necessarily have to Vanish for that. So you might use Vanish for securing that kill. When your crit window runs out on Master Sash, you're going to re-Vanish to get another crit window, or you're going to use it defensively when you're trying to run or escape somebody or something like that. And then reducing the cooldown of Feint is also really good just because I think Feint reduces either 30 or 40% of the damage done to you outside of area effects. So it does just general damage as well. And so Thieves Bargain really adds into that effect of reduced CDs. And then if you stack this with the cooldown reduction legendary, it gets even better. So you could have Vanish up, I think like every minute 20 or something like that, and then that's
Jesus.
reducing the cooldown as well of blind. So this can all play really well into each other to secure kills. And I think ultimately the best part about it is the Shadow Blades reduction from 3 to 2. So I'm about to give this one an A tier because this is a really good ability. I enjoy running it. Some people don't run it because they like to run other things, but I definitely think it's pretty good, definitely for the reduced cooldown.
Nice. Yeah, this is an interesting one. I don't think I've ever
Yeah,
noticed this.
yeah, that's a pretty good addition. I like that one.
Okay. Distracting Mirage.
Striking Mirage. All right, so distract slows affected enemies by 30% and creates a mirage that follows the enemy for 8 seconds. To reactivate distract and teleport to your mirage's location. So I mean, on paper, it's pretty cool, and when you see the tangible abilities, it literally is it's like, let's say someone's around a pillar, you throw a distracting bomb or whatever, you'll create like a little image of yourself that'll chase that person for 8 seconds, and you can teleport to them at any time. The bad part about this ability is they have to be in combat, and so the distracting bomb requires that the enemy be in out of combat. So I think the rare occasion you may use this is, let's say a Resto Druid is healing around the corner, and let's say your team might want to go Resto Druid. Like, all right, we forced a lot of CDs, and we forced the Resto Druid's trinket. Now you want to go him, so you throw your distracting thing around the corner. Your Mirage is there chasing them. teleport around the corner, go then, your team swaps, something like that. But outside of that, there aren't many options where you're just going to necessarily run this ability. It's just more one of those like fantasy role play things that sounds cool on paper, but you're not going to use it that often. So I have to give Distracting Mirage probably a C tier.
I don't think I've ever seen this. Like,
Yeah, nobody runs that.
yeah, I don't think I've ever seen it in arenas. It sounds cool though.
It's probably like one or two occasions you'll ever use that at 30 matches.
Yeah. All right, 2 more to go. Maneuverability.
All right, so maneuverability removes all root effects and suppresses movement slowing effects for 4 seconds when used. And so on Sub Rogue, the greatest thing about Sub Rogue is you have 2 shadow steps, and so that helps with all the mobility and stuff and problems that you may have. So maneuverability on Sub Rogue, you're not really going to use that often because you can pretty much shadow step on the target and get your go going. Maneuverability is just so low yield because you're going to have uptime if you play Sub Rogue correctly. You're going to have uptime when you want uptime, and if you're kiting, you got other abilities you can use to get away to save yourself. You can use that Shadowy Duel or that Smoke Bomb or something like that. So overall, maneuverability on Sub Rogue, I would say this is only for Sub Rogue. I'd probably give it a D just because I don't know. I feel like you're not going to need that often.
Damn, that's big. I can understand it though. Assassin Rogue almost play like a tank, like almost like a warrior, really. Like a squishy
running people down.
Yeah.
Sub Rogue, you're not running anybody down. You're probably running. So
right. Okay, last one. Subtlety only. Veil of Midnight.
All right, so you remain enveloped by the shadows for 2 seconds after stealth or banish fades, increasing dodge chance by 100%. And so I feel like this ability, like I mentioned, if you play Sub Rogue correctly, you'll never have to use this ability just because you're only going to probably care about this ability if you're getting knocked out of stealth. Most of the time on Sub Rogue, when you're coming out of stealth, you're the one doing the stunning. So in those 2 seconds, you're not worried about getting hit or anything like that. And so this ability, it sounds good and it sounds cool. And even when you vanish, for example, you're going back into stealth. You're not coming out of stealth when you vanish. Because if you're vanishing, either one, you're trying to secure the kill or you're trying to run, and so you're trying to line somebody. So you're going to be in re-stealth after vanish. And so overall, this ability, I'm about to put it pretty low as well, just because you're not going to use it that often. I would say this one is probably a D as well.
Yeah, I didn't even know. I didn't think about this ability like in itself. It should be on like a different spec probably, because like if you're on sub, you're gonna open stun like every time almost.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that. I definitely think this should be something they consider for another spec. Like this one wouldn't be too bad in Sin, I think, honestly.
Give Outlaw something. I don't know. Well, there you have it. 3 S tier abilities. 2A. Smoke Bomb has been a consistent S tier. Dismantle on sub is an S tier, and of course Shadowy Duel. 2 A's that you can play around with. And then the rest are either super situational or just not that good for Sub Rogue. There you have it, man. I gotta ask the question: which one do you enjoy the most, Sub or Sin?
You know, like people ask rogues this all the time. So I think it depends on what I'm trying to get out of my WoW experience that day. If I'm trying to be overpowered and not trying to work hard, I'm trying to have an easy game day, play very high rated, and feel good about myself, I'm gonna run that Sin. If I'm trying to play with double DPS, have a good time, have butt clenching games where I'm struggling to beat 1900 warriors, knowing I'm better than them. Now I'm gonna play that sub because I'm running that rogue mage, I'm running that hunter rogue, and we're trying our hardest and still losing, but I'm having a great time.
I'm not gonna lie.
Against people we know we're better than, and so it depends. But overall, I personally say I enjoy Sin more, just because I think the pressure that I can apply and how much I can help my team. I'm more of an offensive threat than a defensive threat. But I definitely, honestly, kind of miss Sub Rogue, and I think I missed Sub Rogue this patch just because of Covenants, and I feel like Sub Rogue is very locked behind Venthyr and that burst.
True.
Versus I'm Necro right now, so the burst isn't really as insane, but yeah.
There you have it, guys. The Sub Rogue video. All Rogue videos are now done. So Hezi doesn't stream, but you can always catch him in my YouTube videos, or you can catch him on my Twitch streams as well. He's like literally my only arena partner, so he'll always be there. I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you like the video, please mutilate that like button. If you like the YouTube channel, please subscribe. I would appreciate it. I don't know what I'm gonna make next, to be honest. I think I'm gonna keep posting stream highlights, so you'll always see like
And Mage videos coming soon.
yeah. So I guess that's the big reveal, dude. I'm leveling my mage. Finally, I haven't played mage since Cataclysm.
Yeah, it's been a
Yeah,
while.
it's been like since Cataclysm, but it's time, man. It's time. I hate playing Beastmaster Hunter, so like that's what I'm maining right now in arenas. I absolutely hate it. I feel like my main is survival, but it's just not as good in threes. I still run it in twos. So Rogue Mage coming soon. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Please, please, please continue to support me. I really appreciate it. And give a big thanks to Mr. Hezi as well for making these
Appreciate
videos.
you having me, man.
Yeah, man. All right. Peace out.